Hi, this is Clay, back with our final lesson, which I'm calling the recipe. It's a cookbook step-by-step approach for getting you started into the low-cost index passive fund investing. So I'm going to give you two options, and the first one, well, let me back up here a little bit. I'm going to talk about using Vanguard as the company to purchase your index funds from. I'm not in any way affiliated with Vanguard. However, it does have one of the widest variety and lowest cost for index funds, and becomes highly recommended, and often in books and articles when you read about low-cost index fund investing, they will mention Vanguard. So it's an excellent choice, and that's what I'm going to use here. So I'm going to give you two options, and first one is the Vanguard Target Fund. And this is the ultimate in the no-brainer investing. You just sign up for one of these funds, and they will do all of the work for you. And I'll show you exactly how to do that in a second here. The option number two is I call it the Clay's no-brainer spreadsheet. And the only work, after you set it up, the only work you'll have to do is once a year. It will take you about 30 minutes to rebalance. But it's a little bit more flexible and tailored more specifically to your own needs. They're both, I think, excellent choices. So first, let's start with the Vanguard Target Fund. You can set one up by calling this phone number that's listed on the screen right here, and they will guide you through it. If you want to do it online, and I'm going to take you there right now, you click on this, and oh, by the way, all of the links I have in this video, if you're on a laptop, you should be able to click on them, and it will take you, just as it did me, to the website listed. However, if you're on a mobile device, they don't work, and there is some talk about Google doing away with these kinds of links, but there are other things called cards, which you have a little eye and a circle in it, and you click on that, and it also gives you the option of taking you to various websites, and I'll set that in, and they do work on mobile devices. If all else fails, just go back to my website and go to the recipe lesson, and all the links are also there. Okay, so this is the Target Fund, and you can either click right here, open your account online, or you can come down here and you can put in your age, or about how many years you think it will be before you retire. And then just click on one of these bars that represents your age, and this will come up and it'll tell you which target fund to invest in, give you some information about fees and management of it. And at that point, let's come down here. It gives you some more information about the fund and about how well it's been doing over the last 1 year, 3 years, and 5 years. Then come up here and click on Invest Now. And you'll come over here. I'm assuming you'll be opening a new account unless you already have one with Vanguard. So let's say we're going to open a new account, and then we click Start. And let's say you're not registered with Vanguard. If you are, you would put in your name and password. So I'll say no, then continue. And then it will ask you some information. We'll actually tell you what kinds of things you'll need available to complete your registration. So you go through those, make sure you have all those, and then you click Continue. And at this point, I'm going to let's suppose that you're creating a retirement fund. That means you can invest in a tax-free fund, and you have your choice of either a Roth, traditional. You'll probably want to choose Roth here. Click on that. And at this point, this is as far as I can go, because then you have to start entering in your personal information. Okay, so that's option number one. Oops, let's come back here. Option number two then is a more tailored balanced portfolio, which you have to do a little bit more work. And let's go through this. So you would go through the same process of opening up a Vanguard account here, and you can click here. You go through the same process you just saw, And at this point, you'll put all of your money into the Prime Money Market Fund. And that will require a minimum deposit of $3,000. By the way, the target, option number 1, the target fund, only has a minimum of $1,000. Okay, then you'll go to the no-brainer spreadsheet. Here it is. And you'll put in 2 pieces of information. You'll put in how much money you're going to invest in your portfolio or put it into your portfolio. Let's just change this just to show you how it, well, no, I'll go through it and then I'll come back and change it. You'll put in your age, and this then will balance, given your age, of what percent you should have in stocks and what percent you should have in bonds. And it takes the percent for you and multiplies it out, gives you the final figure. And then in the lesson on balancing, I talked about these 4 funds. This was, the first 2 funds are the exact same 2 that are in the target fund. And I've added a small cap value because it's a little riskier, but it has a higher return in general. And the REIT gives you, Real Estate Investment Trust, gives you a little exposure to real estate, which I think is nice. So given the diversification that I showed in the lesson 7, I think it was, on balance, keep staying balanced, it figures out the percentage, the total percentage that you will put into each one of these, multiplies it by your 70,000, and then divides it up as shown here. And for the bond fund, 4 funds, as I again showed in the lesson on staying balanced, these first 2 are the exact same 2 that Vanguard selects for the target fund. I've added another one here, high yield, which is like a junk bond fund. It tends to, again, be riskier, more volatile, and in general, higher returns. But a small percent in that, and a small percent in this Treasury inflation-protected securities, but a fairly small amount in that one too, which is also for the target fund. As you get older, they start suggesting or automatically putting some money into this one. Okay, so let's just take another number. Let's suppose instead of 70,000, for instance, you have 50,000. And let's suppose instead of 58, you're 45. Okay, so it redivides, and since you're at a younger amount, this equation that I have, and here's the equation right here, and this is just an equation which turns out when you're 65, you'll be exactly half stocks and half bonds. And that's a little bit arbitrary, but it's a nice typical age of retirement. You could change this equation if you want it. And then each year after that, it increases the amount that you're in bonds and decreases the amount you're in stocks. So given this amount and that age, you would put 35,000 into stocks, 15,000 into bonds. You're a little younger, so you can afford to be a little riskier. And then given the same percentage of the split in the stock markets, you'll come out with this amount that you'll put into each one. And notice here something interesting though. Since I have a smaller percent, I think it's 20% of the total bond goes into this high yield and to the tips, it comes out to $3,000. And it turns out that for Vanguard, $3,000 is the minimum that you can put into any of these individual funds. So this would be kind of the smallest case scenario, and young, and this age being young. I mean, if you reduce this to a younger age, let's just do that, 35 for instance, then you fall below the 3,000 amount here, and you would not be able to invest in these funds. So you would just have to keep in the total bonds until you made enough or got a little bit older, and this amount increased. Or if you had more money. Let's suppose instead I have 90,000. Now we've reached the $3,000 minimum, so you could be able to complete this portfolio as is shown. And if this doesn't work for you, you can go back to the target fund and wait until you get enough money to tailor it more specifically, as I've shown here. Okay, let's go back then to my procedure for my Clay's no-brainer portfolio. So you've gone to the spreadsheet and you typed in your age and amount. And I have a note here that new users must first go to the no-brainer specific spreadsheet to access form. I will need your email address, and I'll get your name too, in order to give you editing permission. I'll just show you that form right now. So if you click here, here's the form that you'll need to fill out with your name and email address. I have a little disclaimer here, or here's a disclaimer that I hate disclaimers, but just in case, I need to know that you understand there's always a risk in investing, and you will not hold me responsible for any losses that you may occur. However, if you do make a lot of money, I'd be happy to help you spend it. So you fill that out, and then you get access to the spreadsheet. So you fill in the spreadsheet. Now, after you've done that, and after you've gone online or called in and put your money into the Prime Money Market Fund, then you can either call in again, or you can go online and you can make transfers from your Vanguard Money Market account to each of the funds listed on the spreadsheet and the amounts specified. Once a year, then, and doing it on your birthday is always a nice time. I would not recommend doing it any more than once a year, and there's some logical reasons for that. And once a year, you spend about 30 minutes, you type in your new age and your new total amount of money. You may have put some additional money in, you may have made some money, and then you rebalance your portfolio by transferring money into these accounts according to the new numbers in the spreadsheet. And that's it. That's it for, it's very simple and very effective. I think the only other thing I could say is regarding the spreadsheet. If, in fact, you the spreadsheet doesn't work for you, or if you would like to change some of the funds in it or the percentages, I would do that for you. But now we're requiring some work, and you'd have to contact me, and I would have to get some reimbursement for doing it. But that's down the road. The other suggestion is get some 12-year-old person who knows how to do a spreadsheet and do it for you, or you can do it, figure it out. Okay, so that's the end then of the series of lessons. I hope you got something out of it. I hope you become a smarter investor and not one of the smart people who do dumb things with your money. This has been great. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you will follow through on some of this. Ciao.